Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. In today's episode we've got something really special. It is our new 130 project vehicle which we're going to be transforming into an overland camper. Now as you can see, we've already made a start. Yes, we've spent 2 days stripping this down. So what I want you to do with me now is rewind. We're going to go back a couple of days and show you when I pick this up ready for its MOT. Well guys, here we are again at Gav's workshop. So this is GJH Services in Norfolk. They've done the work, the prep work on all the vehicles because by some unknown reason I bought most of my vehicles from Norfolk and he really knows his stuff. So he gets them ready for me to get an MOT, basic MOT. Then I drive them back to Liverpool, 6-hour drive, and then we start the project. So we've got an MOT in 3 hours. The electrics are not working, lights aren't working. The problem with this vehicle is it's been off the road but on an estate, so they haven't had to have a proper MOT on it, and they don't really care about lights, indicators, doesn't really matter if it works or not, they don't need them. So a lot of things aren't working, all the bulbs are just dropping out. So I'm going to crack on now, strip all the lights out, and then I'm going to go into the dash, fuse box, relay, switch gear. I've got a load of stuff with me, I've sent a load of tools, I've got my probe, hopefully going to get the electrics working, then we are good for MOT. So we're going to crack on. So you can see what we're up against here with the lights. Now I thought these might be the later, late 300 TDI, TD5 connections, but we've got the old school wires. So that's not a good sign straight away. And you can just see the condition of everything's really bad. Now I had some part box of some LED lights kicking around the workshop. So I've sent those here. See, look. But I haven't got any of these, but we'll make good with what we've got. But let's get this all stripped out and have a look now. You can see why the lights aren't working, because we've not got proper earths. That's melted and it's been earthed separately, so it must have an earthing issue in here. All sorts of good stuff going on. Again, can't get to those much more easily without taking the inner wing off, but what we got here, that's the side lamp. Oh, wiring is so unhappy. It's gonna be a mission. Okay, so I've got access now to my switches. I might not have to change those, so what I'm going to do hopefully is just release them from the blocks and test the new ones. Thought you'd like to see that. It's quite interesting because I haven't pulled that out yet. That's definitely blown. So we'll go through now and see which ones have gone and which ones haven't, but that's not a good start, I don't think. It is super unhappy, this fuse box. It's corroded really badly. So before I try, I've taken one out and look, it's pulled out the terminal from the block itself. So before I do any more damage, I'm going to get some contact cleaner in there, try and get rid of some of that. Then we'll pull them out and get them rewired. That one's going to have to go back in, but yeah. So Gav is working at the back, I'm working at the front, trying to get all the lights replaced. Now you did see obviously that all the wires were messed up. Now as a team, we've both gone in here and sorted that out. We've used a little file, a special file to expose and wear down the terminals again so we get good connections. I've used contact cleaner on all the relays, so I'm happy with that part at the moment. And then the front, we've got new headlights, we've got new side lights, but we are now kind of hanging free, ready to go. Once we've got the back ones in, we can just do a quick test. So Gav's taken the wires back. If you wanted to, we don't need the towing stuff. If you think it's going to cause a problem, you could just cut it all off. But right, I'm back. So that is the MOT done. Now I did show you some pictures of the lights at the front, which are shameful, I know, but it is legal. They are working and they are connected, they're hard mounted, they're not moving about, but everything's good on the Land Rover. Now We've got a little bit of wiring to tidy up. I did blow a fuse actually on the way down there on the indicator. Now the reason for that, weirdly, is this was originally a Rapier, a 127 Rapier military vehicle, and it was a V8. And that's caused us a few problems because the fuse box cover is for an older, different vehicle, a V8, so all the fuses are in different places. So we've got the wrong rated fuses in the wrong holes. So I'm gonna have to go through all of that and sort that out. It also might suggest why I'm running a little bit warm on the temperature gauge. So I'm running at sort of 3/4 hot. And that again, I think is because it's got the original V8 temperature gauge in there, which is different. So as long as it's holding a steady temp, I'm happy. But little things like that, you see, you just don't know. And we had a real effort with the wiring. So yes, the wiring's working now. It's nowhere near what I want it to be for the future. I'm going to be putting the glow lights on this again because I love those lights. And I'll do all the loom and all the wiring properly when I do that, when I get back to Liverpool. So we're just sorting out a few things now. We've got to do a radiator because that wasn't really good enough. We just got LR Parts, have very kindly sent it next day. So I literally ordered it yesterday at 2 o'clock and it's here now. So I can do that for the trip back. Just got to bleed a few things. It's got a new steering box on there, so that's got some air in it, but I think that's mostly found its way out now because it's all sounding good. The tyres are brilliant. So we just had these Petless Peaklander mud terrains, which I hadn't had before. They've got a really nice tread on them and they're not noisy at all. Now I've got the white letters on the outside at the moment. I might not keep them like that because obviously the wheels have got to come off and be painted, but as far as I'm concerned, they were such good value. I think they're about 140 quid a tyre. And that might even be delivered. So that's from 4x4tyres.co.uk. We bought those and they again got them here next day. Really good service. Now one thing I have got to do, as is always the case, is I've got to strip that door card off because the regulator's gone on the window and I can't open the door now from the side. So I'm going to strip that apart and see what horrors lie. In fact, we'll do it together. Can I do it one-handed? Yes. Ooh, I thought those doors were all right, but they're not. That looks like the original military door. Look at the state of that. So, I honestly didn't think we'd have to put new doors on these because they look quite new, but no, we are going to have to put new doors on it. Let's see what's happened to that regulator. The problem was the glass had fallen out of the runners here on the felt runners on the sides, and it's actually come free of these little grips. So I've just wedged it back in for now, and this has just popped out in there, so that's why my door wouldn't open. So I'm going to clip that back in. Service wise, we've just done the fuel filter and we've done the oil filter, the air filter, oil change, coolant because of the new rad that we fitted, the Nissan's one, and everything's been topped up, clutch, brake, power steering fluid because we've got a new box and arm. What else was it? A new box and a pump. Yep, on there. So Gav's done all of that. Just saying that, so if a breakdown, it's his fault. So just while Gav's doing the oil, I thought I'd show you some of the detail on the back here. So these trailing arms are really, really over-engineered, massively beefy and all supported. So that's an aftermarket, I wouldn't say aftermarket, but specific for the 127. We've got the old man emu shocks at the back because they definitely need doing. I'm going to replace the fronts as well when we get back to the workshop. And then we did the A-frame ball joint and these little dog bone links for the anti-roll bars. Now she's quite heavy at the moment on the top, so when she drives lovely, but cornering, you can feel the weight at the top. You really can, so I'm probably gonna have to polybush it and get to firm it up a little bit more. And what about, I don't know about that tank, what do you reckon? We haven't got good history with tanks, have we?
Not really.
Doesn't look too bad.
Know where to stop and
yeah.
To use it, and
but
part of it's just surface, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it all looks buttoned up and it's not leaking. It's got 3/4 of tank in there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot tidier chassis than the last one we had on here.
Get tight. You ready?
Yeah. Oh, it's got a bit in there. Not very nice colour though.
About 20-year-old, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, so let me tell you a little bit about this Land Rover. Now, I've just done over 150 miles. I've stopped over at the M6 services. Sorry about my belly, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, so I've just done 150 miles. I'm always really nervous in a new vehicle when I'm taking it after it's just been sort of fully serviced and prepped for MOT, when it's been off the road for a while, when I do such a big trip. But I think it's really good for it because it should shake it down and let me know if anything's really badly wrong. But I can tell you that so far I've been really impressed. Let me tell you a couple of the good things. No, let me tell you a couple of the bad things. So I do have a surprise unwanted vent just above my accelerator pedal. Now I didn't see that, neither did the MOT station, because it was tucked behind all the footwell mats, and it just blistered really badly, and as soon as I touched it, it collapsed. Now it's got another skin on the back, so that's why it probably wasn't spotted in the MOT, but you can just pull it apart, and that's what I've done, unfortunately. But it's a really warm day today and it's not raining, so I'm not getting a wet foot, and it's quite pleasant. So that's a little bit of a bad point. What else is bad? Oh yeah, we don't have a speedo. So the speedo cable had been taped up and stuck onto the speedometer, which was working for a bit, and now it's just stopped working. But I've got the sat nav, so I've got a speed on there, so that's okay. It's not the end of the world, and a new speedo cable is not a problem. It's all these little things when you're driving. I mean, it's like a 5-hour drive pretty much, or at least 4.5 hours, and it gives you a lot of time to think about ideas and what you're going to have to do to the vehicle. And one of the things I've thought about a little bit is the dashboard. So the dash actually isn't too bad, but the bulkhead is bad, and as I mentioned, we've got a hole there, and we've got quite a lot of holes on the top of the bulkhead near the vent flaps. Well, they're blistered and they are going to turn into holes. So I know I haven't done it on the channel yet, and there's a small chance, I'd say a medium chance, that we're going to do a bulkhead replacement. I think it warrants having it done because it's got the original military bulkhead on there and it's not ever been changed, so I think a galvanised bulkhead would be great. Which leads me on to another bit of corrosion which I didn't know, I didn't spot, so you've got to be really thorough when you're looking at these vehicles, is on the bottom of the driver's door where the hinge is. That's completely shot. It doesn't stop the door opening and closing, but it is shot. So it's going to need at least one door, probably two, and I'm probably going to fit split doors because I like those. They're easy to fit, they give you more leg room, and they're going to be easier to insulate because they don't have any winding mechanisms inside them. So because it's going to be a camper, hope that's not a spoiler alert, but because it's going to be a camper, we'll put insulation in the doors as well and sound deadening, and I just think that'd be a better solution really. So that's going to need doing. Fuel economy is as expected really, nothing amazing, but it's not bad. I will say she pulls great, but she's heavy, and you know, she doesn't like going up hills greatly at any great speed, so you are a little bit limited. So I think I'd like to give the engine a little bit more of a boost, possibly with an intercooler. We'll get some silicone hoses on there. I don't think I'm going to do the boost pin because it's going to be too smoky, but I'd like to get an intercooler on there and make sure the turbo's all working as it should be and the output's good, which I think it is, but it would just be nice to have a little bit more oomph when you're going up a hill. Now as far as driving goes, she loves 65 mile an hour. I mean, not a problem, cruising all day long. I could push it a lot further. I'm sure she's got 75 in her, no problem at all. But fifth gear is almost redundant unless you're doing over 50 mile an hour. Now I've possibly not experienced that before, so I wonder whether the gear ratios are slightly different in this vehicle because it's so big and it's a 127, it's got the extra weight. There's a possibility the gear ratios might be different because you know, it doesn't want to go into fifth. It feels under geared if you put it into fifth, anything less than 50, and you certainly don't have any torque to convert into power at in that gear. So, and she doesn't rattle, it doesn't sound like you're revving the nuts off the engine at 50 in fourth. It's weird, it's almost like an overdrive. So obviously I'm using that when I'm on the motorway, but generally I'd probably be sticking to fourth most of the time and just dropping into fifth if I'm on a main road and we're doing over 50 mile an hour. But it's just getting to these little, you know, foibles that this vehicle has. But I am genuinely so impressed. Everything seems to be coming back to life. The heaters come back to life, all the levers and everything seem to have freed up a bit. It's clearly not done really any speed in its time. So this was converted from the V8 in 2003. I really want to find out how many miles this had on it when it had the conversion done, because no matter what it's done, I mean, it can't have done many miles because it's just been on an estate, or it's been on a couple of private estates as a shooting vehicle. So the chances ever got over 30 mile an hour in its last 20 years is slim, and it really shows with how the engine pulls and how quiet it is. I don't think I've ever driven a 300 TDI that's that quiet. It's almost unnerving how quiet it is, and it doesn't have any particular extra sound deadening, and there's a little bit under the bonnet, but it's just so damn quiet, and the gearbox is really tight. So I just think it's poodled about in its whole life ever since it's had that engine, and I would love to think that that's a crate engine, a 300 TDI crate engine that was brand new in 2003 when it was dropped in. That would be amazing, and I'm hoping we're going to find all that out, because we are talking to Foley's at the moment to see if we can go down and see them and discuss the history of this vehicle and have a little look about that operation and how they build them, because obviously when we're doing the conversion it'd be great to know what materials they use, so we might use the same materials, the same construction methods when we're modifying the rear body. So that's something to really look forward to in the future, and that will happen, I hope, in the next few months, because I want to do that before I start stripping it down too much. But if it doesn't happen before then, we'll still be able to get loads of information, loads of history. Right, I'm going to crack on now. So I've had myself a Red Bull and a Mars bar and some pizza from last night, so I'm full basically, and I think what I'm going to do is, now it's quite warm as I said before, and oh, that was the other thing, window is knackered, but I have fixed it. It's come unstuck from the regulator, so if you undo it too quickly it kind of drops out and it just gets stuck. So I know what I'm doing and I can control it. What I want to try and do is do a little bit of talking while I'm driving, but it's a bit of a sweat box. See what I mean about the gears being long? Still in fourth, and that's 50 mile an hour. And then we're into our overdrive almost. I'm gonna have to shut this, I think. Doesn't make a lot of difference, but at least there's no wind noise. So I'm doing 57 at the moment. I feel like I'm shouting, I probably don't need to. So we're cruising at 60. Oh, we've got the toll booth coming up now. That's interesting because this technically is an estate car, so I should pay a car rate on the toll. And I've had this before, but because the bonnet is so high, certainly if you've got a spare wheel on your bonnet, when it scans it with the beams, it thinks it's a van. I don't know if the windows might make a difference, but they're so high up that I don't think the beam will break those either. So I think we're going to get smacked on the arse for using the toll for about 20 quid. So we've got brand new discs and pads on the 130, and they do need to bed in a little bit more. They are getting better, but they're not great. And I think one of the things that I'd really like to add to this vehicle is the Loft brake booster that we put on the other 300 TDI, because it made a massive difference. And with so much weight, it's going to really be beneficial. Right, let's see what we get build. Oh. Do you know what? I think we got away with it. I think that was 10 quid. Magic. So if you didn't know, the way the toll on the M6 anyway works is it's got beams, laser beams if you like, that you cut into as you're driving. But if you've got windows, they pass through it and then it goes, oh, you're just a big car. So that's a result, because when I had the 300 TDI, although it was technically a commercial van, so rightly so, I got charged about 18 quid. Well folks, it is the morning after, and I am pleased to report that the 130 made it no problem whatsoever. So it was a brilliant drive, and although it took quite a long time, she performed brilliantly, and just so made up with how nice a drive that vehicle is. Now, today is going to be the first day we're going to be doing something on this, and that's taking all of the seats out. Reese is just cutting the seat belts off that bench. That's the triple bench from the front. Opens it up a treat. all this is going to come down as well. This is just, I'm guessing this is just ply. So we've got still quite a few to go, but it's really going to give us a sense then of what it's like inside. A bit negative, we've lost the door frame here, the steel door frame. I don't think it's anything too tragic. We shouldn't be able to fabricate something quite easy, or maybe even just redo that door frame completely. But yeah, we're now going to crack on do the others. The nuts are proving to be hard work, to be fair. Unfortunately, that wheel arch box is shot, basically it's corroded. I'll show you that in a little bit. That's going to have to be refabricated, which luckily it's not too complicated. And we might even box it up differently depending if it suits our application better. So we've got one more set of seats to come out the back, and then we'll get the front ones out and all this paneling. I think this was originally designed for a drop-down table, and it would have just been here to sort of like stop again, I think. And the last one. Well, there's one. Oh, maybe not. Great. Well, I'm pleased about that. There's no damage. I thought it might be there to cover up something, but it's not. Right, we're just starting now to strip away this bulkhead, and it has actually got some relatively nice bits that we can copy and duplicate, so we can rebuild it all. So I'm gonna just doing a little video to sort of know where we are. So we're gonna take these off now, but keep them as templates. We'll take this off because unfortunately it's all corroded, but it might be nice to put it back in the same way it came off. I'm gonna have a little look into this wing, and that's gonna give me, I hope, an idea of how it's been constructed. I've got a feeling there's some sort of composite board behind here with an aluminium skin. So I want to take that off, have a look inside because it needs some work here. And then obviously we need to get these wheel arch boxes up and off, ready to remake them. So that is going to be my focus. We've also got screws underneath here for this trim, so that does make me think it's definitely going to be wood. So that wood panel needs to come out. I'm not sure if it's trapped by this or not. Right, that's a bit brutal. So we know now that it's fixed in as well from the back. The inner skin is like a fiberglass panel that like you get on a caravan, I guess. So that's probably what the majority of it is lined with. Right, get rid of some of this. So this area is structural. We need to make sure that that is good, and at the moment it's just looking like a bit of surface rust, so that's really good. Okay, what I want to do now is try and remove this box. I don't think I need to take those bolts out. Should hopefully get the majority of the rivets out. going to be bonded in. Not very well. Wow. Okay. Now we know how it's constructed, we can hopefully take it apart a bit easier. So we've got 2 rivets in here. Yes. Yeah. Voila! This is the butyl I was talking about. That's foil, and under here is all the butyl. So we'll be using something similar, like a Dynamat or something, to get in there. Keep that all sealed up. Right, again, it's quite thin. Need to find out what that is. Okay. Right, we're up on the top now. Reese and I are going to try and take all these tech screws out that are just holding this very flimsy skin. That's just plastic, if you ask me. And then this is some aluminium flashing. So we're going to strip all of that off. It should open up the whole of the roof. So we have the top skin off, which I think, is it ply? I think it could be ply with just some aluminium edging. This is our board that goes inside. So we're going to slowly strip all this off. So we can get this off. And then we're going to have to pull these sections up. Go on. There we go. Don't know what material that is. Just drop it on the floor. It's like some sort of fiberboard, look. And then there's going to be another skin. Right, I'll have to put the camera down for a minute, or can we pull this one up? Right. Yeah, right, yeah, go for it. We're not going to use it again. Yeah. That escalated quickly. So we managed to get the outer skin off, and then Reese stood inside and lifted the inner skin, which is the sort of composite board. So this is the important bit, and that's the structure we need to retain. Just literally one day. We've got the roof off, we've got the structure, so now we can look about re-roofing it if we need to, but it's going to give us really good access into the vehicle for now. So, yeah. Right, that was hard work, but we've done it. Just to give you an idea, this is a piece of the sort of insulation for the roof, or the ceiling. It's just got open cell foam, and it is full of water, and it's really heavy. What do you reckon that weighs? Half a kilo? I reckon that's probably half a kilo, and there's probably, that's like 1 square foot. Mixing up my metric and imperial there, but anyway. I mean, Jesus, it must be like 50, 60 kilo just of this on top of that, plus all the wet wood. So I think we've done well to get rid of that. Right, Reese has just weighed that bit I showed you, and I said it was half a kilo. It's actually 1.7 kilos, and let's say it's 30 centimetres squared. We'll do some maths at some point and work out just how heavy that was on the top there. It's already looking higher. So that's great. To be honest, I'm a little bit horrified, but it's nice to see the bones of the construction. So you can see we've got a steel frame here that goes all the way round. So that's going to be basically your basic frame. Now, the wood around this glass has rotted at the top. Now we are going to be re-paneling the wall, so it's not the end of the world, because if we can cut it at the bottom and put a new panel in, that'd be great. As long as we can keep the structure of this and it hasn't gone too badly, which I don't think it has, but we're going to have to tidy all of that up, and then we're going to have to clean it all up and get it done again. But the thing I really wanted to save and make sure it was all good were these special sort of capping covings we've got here that run at the top, and that's what gives us our body structure. Well, that's pretty much it for this episode, but don't worry, we have got a whole load more to come. This is going to be a big project. We're probably looking at about 3 to 4 months before this is finished. There's loads to do, not only mechanical side of things to do, which is more Land Rover specific, but also some of the stuff that is more specific to building an off-road camper, if you like, and we're going to work with Foley's on that. So this vehicle has a lot of provenance, we think, and it came from a very special customer. But I'm not going to spoil any of that information in this episode. I'm going to try and wait until we've got all the backstory, just to give you an idea of exactly where this came from and what it was before we got our hands on it. So this is a great time to subscribe. If you haven't, it's completely free. Just click the subscribe button. You'll be notified when a new video comes out. We've got 2 project vehicles on the go at the moment. If you haven't seen the channel before, there's a lot to see. If you're into your Land Rovers, then this is the place to be. If you're waiting for an update on the 90 county station wagon that we built from a pickup, that's going to be coming very soon. We're just waiting to get the vehicle onto the rolling road so we can give it a remap and give you an idea of what performance we're going to get out of it. But also I'm going to be going step by step through all the costs of what it costs us to build, and give you an idea of what we're going to be doing with that vehicle now it's finished. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and do give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you very soon on the next one.